The Eddie Sutton Show, brought to you by the Johnson Auto Family, just a short drive from high prices. Johnson's Auto Family, Kingfisher, Chickasha, Enid, and Stillwater. By Phillips 66, the Performance Company. By Southwestern Bell, the exclusive communications choice of the OSU Cowboys. By Oklahoma Tank Lines, a proud sponsor of Oklahoma State Athletics. By Oberlin World Color Press. And by the OSU Posse, reminding you to wear orange and purchase officially licensed OSU products. Now here's your host, Tom Dirato.
Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to our first Eddie Sutton Show of the year. 19th ranked Oklahoma State is off to a 4-2 start. And Eddie, like we experienced so many times in the early season, we've had some good times and also a few bumps in the road.
Well, we had some good times in Hawaii. We beat two good ball clubs in Marquette and the University of Hawaii. Won a great game over TCU and Billy Tubbs as we came back to our campus. Had one of the most disappointing losses I think any coach could ever absorb when Florida Atlantic came in here and upset us and broke our 80-game non-conference winning record. And then a tough time in Los Angeles against the Bruins. But UCLA is very talented, and they're going to win a lot of ball games. But I like this basketball team, and we're in final exams right now. But next week we'll have some times to get some of these things corrected. And we still got a lot of basketball ahead of us. And I think the team, the coaching staff, they're optimistic. We were preseason picks to win the Big 12. I don't know whether we'll do that or not, but we're certainly going to attempt to do it. But we are one of the top 3 or 4 teams, best teams in our league. Well,
history says this is exactly when the Eddie Sutton teams really start to turn it on and get better, and we look forward to that improvement. We're going to meet the 98-99 Cowboys when the Eddie Sutton Show returns after this timeout.
Hi, I'm Kristen Segner with Educational Television Services, and I'd like to wish everyone watching the Eddie Sutton Show a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Now back to Tom.
Well, welcome back to the show. A little holiday cheer on the show, our first one of the season. Let's take a look at the 98-99 Cowboys now. We'll start with the only senior on the club, and as you say, this is his team.
Well, he was voted preseason big player, Big 12 Player of the Year, and he's certainly gotten off to a great start. He's averaging 19 points a ball game. A complete basketball player. He can hurt you at both ends of the court, but has been just a great representative of Oklahoma State. He's going to graduate in the spring on time with a degree from the business school. If we're going to have an outstanding season, he's certainly going to be one of the important parts.
You know, he admits, I think, freely that he's become more of a complete player since he's been here. He wasn't necessarily a two-way type player when he arrived.
Well, I talked to a sports writer from Little Rock earlier in the week, and he's doing a piece on Adrian, and I told him that he represents what you look for in a student athlete. He has really improved defensively and in his ability to rebound the basketball. Desmond Mason, perhaps the best athlete to ever play for me, and he too has continued to improve as a basketball player, but no one can thrill the crowd more than he does when he gets one of those high lobs and he goes up and dunks it.
You know, he certainly can bring a lot of emotion to the court, and you see him from time to time when he gets a dunk or he gets a big momentum swinging basket. Now he's got his teammates fired up.
He can. He lives on that, making a big play, and he does. He is very emotional, and that carries over to his teammates. Great block. He too can play both ends of the floor. He can defend. He can block shots, and yet he's can score. One of the areas that he's improved in my opinion, is his ability to shoot the basketball. But great rebounder, and. Again, if we're going to have a good ball club this year, he's going to be another very important cog. Well, he, Peterson, Gottlieb, and Atkins all returned from that ball club that went to the NCAA tournament last year and beat George Washington and took Duke right down to the wire. Joe Atkins, a lot of times people think that, gosh, Joe looks small out there, but he's actually about 6'1", and he plays a lot taller than that because he can dunk the ball and terrific scorer. And was one of the main reasons John Marshall had such a great record when he came out of high school. We're very fortunate to have recruited him and beaten a lot of other schools to get him.
Joe's got that shooter's mentality, though. If he thinks he's open and he's got the stroke, he's going to let it go.
Joe's one of those guys, I don't think, he's never thought that there was such a thing as a bad shot. Every once in a while, we have to correct him and say, now, Joe, let's see if we can't get just a little bit better shot. But he's just a lot of fun to coach, and that's one of the things that you're around our players all the time. Nobody has better people than we have. Some schools may have better players, but no one has better people. They're certainly very, very good representatives of OSU. Doug Gottlieb, our point guard, I think he's improved his shooting from a year ago. I think he's not as careless with the basketball as he used to be. Great at doing that right there, penetrating and either getting all the way to the basket, or when help comes, what we call dribble penetration, and someone steps off, well, he dishes the ball off to Peterson or Atkins or Mason or one of the other guys on the perimeter.
Quickly address Doug's situation with UALR coming up.
Well, he's not going to start in our game Saturday night when we play University of Arkansas at Little Rock in Oklahoma City, because he really didn't have control of his emotions a week ago when we played Florida Atlantic and UCLA, and he got some technical fouls, and we're not going to tolerate that. And he's a wonderful young man, a good person, but we're not going to allow any of our players to go out there and make technical fouls that hurt the ball club. Alex Weber, who's been starting at center for us, and I think he's fully recovered from back surgery that he had after his freshman year. He's got to become more consistent. I think that he and Frederick Johnson will probably hold down our pivot position this year. But Alex is capable of being a double score figure and also averaging a high in the areas of rebounding. I think that's one of the areas where we haven't been very consistent thus far. I don't think people realize what a great player Brett Robish was, and we miss him, and our big guys just haven't responded as quickly as we thought they would. Now, here's a guy that probably is playing better than we thought he would going into the season. That's Brian Montanani.
He's not bad on the free throw line either.
He's got the best free throw percentage of anyone right now. I told him the other day, I said, you keep shooting that way, we're going to let you shoot all the technical fouls this year.
We had to put that shot in. That might be his signature shot since he's been here.
That was a move against the University of Oklahoma last year, late in the game, when we really needed a play like that.
Here he is in recent games against UCLA.
He had 10 points in the game against the Bruins, and I think picked up 5 rebounds. There's been a very good 6th man coming off the bench. Scott Robish needs to get stronger. We've got him on a 3 milkshake a day diet. I wish I had that.
Me too. If we could just get away with doing that.
But we got to get him stronger. He's a very dedicated player, and his dad thinks that he has the ability to become a better player than his brother Brett, and we hope that will happen this year. But he just isn't quite strong enough at times to get inside. Terrific shooter from 15 feet facing the basket.
Here's a guy we like.
You like him a lot, and I do too. But Frederick Johnson comes from Sweden. He's a freshman, but just continues to get better and better. And in our last game against UCLA, I thought he played very poised. He was very confident and made some good plays, drew 2 charges, which a lot of times you have a hard time getting players, especially young players, to step over in front of a dribbler and draw the charge. But
he brings that intensity to the court you don't see from a newcomer.
Well, he's very intelligent and he's a very good student in that you tell him something, you don't have to tell him twice. He's got a chance to be a straight A student his first semester in school. John Gilmore, he's a tough luck guy thus far. In Hawaii, he got his cheek split, and he had to take about 50 stitches. He came back to first practice, got his nose all bloodied, and is out of action right now and won't be coming back to us probably till we get to conference play. He had an emergency a hernia that had to be corrected, had to have surgery, so we're missing John right now. Now here's a guy that a lot of people have been talking about, and they'll get a chance to see him Saturday night when we play the University of Arkansas Little Rock. He's put in his 2 semesters of having to reside when you transfer from another Division I school. He started at the University of Arkansas. We're happy to have him. He's going to be a very, very good basketball player, and we need that additional help in the backcourt that he'll give us.
Michael Johnson is a redshirt candidate, is he not?
He is a redshirt candidate. He was a freshman last year, had limited action. He's going to probably redshirt this year. At least we told him the early part of the season that we needed to take a long look at not playing him, and we haven't played him yet. So I would say that he will be a redshirt and then have 3 years of eligibility left.
Let's return to Glendon Alexander quickly now. What does he bring to the table for people who are going to see him for the first time Saturday night?
Glendon Alexander is a player very similar to Adrian Peterson. I think that he, he's not as good as Adrian right now, but that doesn't mean that he couldn't be in time. He's got a 1.5 years of eligibility left to play here at OSU. He can go in and score, he can defend, he can rebound, he can pass. He's a complete basketball player, and that's one of the things that has hurt us when we haven't had anyone to give Joe, give Doug, give Adrian, give Desmond a little bit of a rest. And I think he just gives us added depth. He's going to start in the game, and that'll be the first chance that people get a chance to see him play.
Well, you all know by now that Brooks Thompson has returned to Stillwater. We're going to visit with Brooks on our first off-the-court feature. That's all coming up next.
All right, let's go. Get
You know, he was one of the most exciting, intense players to ever wear an Oklahoma State uniform. He's experienced a once-in-a-lifetime dream of playing in the NBA. Now he thinks he'd like to try his hand at coaching. Brooks Thompson has returned to Stillwater to learn from one of college basketball's coaching giants and also to give something back to the program he loves. Well, Brooks, what brings you back to Stillwater?
Well, a long road, I'd say. You know, I had a 4-year career in the NBA and hurt my back last year right before the playoffs with the New York Knicks, and I gave Coach a call. You know, my aspirations were to coach in college. You know, I'm looking to be a college basketball coach, and you can't learn from anybody better than Coach Sutton. You know, he taught me to play, so, you know, I think he could teach me to coach. But, you know, he has his staff in place, and I'm here volunteering just to be around and learn the college basketball scene from the coach's standpoint instead of just the player's standpoint.
We'll return to that coaching angle here in a bit, but you certainly enjoyed an opportunity, had an opportunity that very few college basketball players ever get to enjoy, playing in the NBA. What was that like?
It was a dream come true. It really was. I felt God blessed me with, you know, a certain talent to play basketball, and I worked as hard as I could to shape it to get to the NBA, and it was a great 4 years, and, you know, I enjoyed it thoroughly. I played in the finals my rookie year. I was drafted in the first round. You know, I still have some goals that I feel that are unfulfilled basketball-wise because, you know, I think that that's what makes you better as a basketball player, and definitely as a person also, is to set goals and to go reach those goals. And when I was in college, my goal was to win a Big 8 title, win a national championship. You know, those didn't happen. I came close, and, you know, I'm very happy with my college career. But then you make individual goals of getting to the NBA and doing certain things in the NBA. And I got to the NBA, but I still have some goals out there that I set that I didn't achieve in the NBA in the 4 years I was there. So, you know, you starve for that, but you definitely look back and you say, man, what a great 4 years it was. It was, you know, you played against Michael Jordan, you played with Shaquille O'Neal, Patrick Ewing, Penny Hardaway, you know, just you can name, you know, many that I got a chance to play with or against, and it's a dream come true. And I can't wait to show my kids that one day, you know, the films and the pictures that I have.
How is your back doing right now?
It's the more I rest it, the better I feel. You know, it's an unfortunate deal. I've got the 2 herniated discs, so I've seen therapists all over the country, with, you know, the Knicks doctors to the Dallas Cowboys doctors, and they all say, you know, different things. So right now I'm kind of on my own resting, and it's starting to feel better. So I'm not totally, you know, giving up basketball, but if by miraculous thing that my back heals, then good. But right now I'm looking to the future outside of basketball, actually playing basketball.
I've seen this on a day-to-day basis, but you still bring that intensity to the gym each and every practice session, each and every game. How do the players react to your role?
Well, hopefully positive, you know, because I've been where they are right now, and that's what I try to display to them. You know, I've been at the grueling practices, or, you know, through the diverse situations maybe that the team's going through right now, you know, with the 2 early losses that we suffered and to a Florida Atlantic. You know, we started out my first year here in the league. We lost to Kansas State at home, who we thought we were a better team, but, you know, you have to overcome those situations, and I've been there, and I've been where they want to be. You know, everybody who plays this game hopefully dreams to play in the NBA and can look to me or ask me the questions of, you know, Brooks, what's it like, or what do I need to improve on, or what do I need to do, you know, as a person or as a player. So I've always brought as much energy as I can to whatever I do, and especially on the basketball floor, because that's where my passion is. So hopefully those guys can just take from me a positive image that I hopefully portray, and just anything that I can do to help these guys, because they're a great bunch of guys, and you know, I respect them, and hopefully they respect me, and we have a great relationship, and I can help them for their future.
Do you now have a better understanding as to why the coaches might have been a little upset with you in particular when you failed to carry out an assignment, when you threw the ball away, when you took an ill-advised shot? Do you see why the coaches got a little upset with you back then?
Well, absolutely. I can see why a coach can get upset with any player, you know, and I've coming from, you know, looking at the new perspective that I'm looking at now, coaching's a lot tougher than I thought it would be. You know, I enjoy it, and you know, it's definitely a challenge, but you know, you can understand why coaches can get frustrated, why a guy would do what makes a guy do a certain thing of taking a bad shot.
Of course, you never did any of these things.
I never turned the ball over, took a bad shot, and coach will tell you that, I'm sure. But you know, it's frustrating. But you know, they're young men, so I guess, and even at every level, a guy's going to make a mistake and maybe do something that's wrong, and then hopefully the player will look back and be like, why'd I do that? That was a bonehead play. But you know, it's tough, because as a coach, you want to correct them and you want everything to be perfect, and you have to realize that that players are going to make mistakes. But it's also frustrating. You teach every day to not do it, but it still happens. So it gets a little frustrating, and you know, I can see how coach maybe would get a little frustrated with me at times when I played here. I was pretty fiery, but you know, I always respected his last words. So I'm enjoying it. Coaching's a good profession, and I enjoy it.
You know, you and I both agree he's one of the most intense players that we've had here at Oklahoma State, and one of the most intense competitors that I've ever had as a coach. He's going to be an outstanding coach, and you know, when he gets his degree. And I'm sorry that his back has curtailed his pro career, because he really was doing quite well up there. But we're happy that he's here with us. He's going to get his degree, and then we'll get him out in the coaching field, and I think he'll be super, because Brooks is really a marvelous young man, and I was just so privileged to have that opportunity to coach him.
And you can't ever remember him throwing it away, can you? I can't remember one turnover he made.
I know one thing: if he threw it away, he made up for it in other areas, because he would get after you. He was a fighter.
Well, we'll take a look at the notebook, and also a tough matchup at Oklahoma City. The Eddie Sutton Show continues in a moment.
We come here on.
Hi, I'm Rick Eggers, audio operator for the Eddie Sutton Show, wishing you and yours a very happy holiday season. And now back to the show.
Welcome back to the show. And Eddie, we have some interesting items on our first notebook of the year. And the first item is take a seat. Tell us what happened at UCLA.
Well, when you go into a big arena, you know, you're not sure it's a neutral site where you're going to sit. And we went out that morning for a shoot around. They told us to sit on that bench. We come out just before the game, and UCLA's taking that bench. And usually what you do, you warm up at the opposite end of where your bench is. And so the official came over and said, well, just switch benches, and said, even though you haven't warmed up at that end, we'll go the opposite your bench. So that's what we did. First time that ever happened to me.
Well, whose ball is next? And we have a different interpretation of the possession arrow this year.
There's a lot of confusion on this new rule that if the defense forces a jump ball situation, for instance, a blocked shot, or one team has the basketball and a player goes in and ties it up, it doesn't affect the alternating arrow. So there's been a little confusion on that. If you go up for a rebound and both players grab it, then it goes to the alternating possession. But a lot of criticism, I think, thus far, and a lot of confusion.
I realize it's early, but the Big 12 is off to a slow start, and that affects everybody.
Well, it affects your overall rating as a conference, and there have been some upsets in the league that you wouldn't have thought would have happened. We talked about our Florida Atlantic game, but there's been some others. I think the surprise team thus far is Texas A&M. They're 8-1 at this point, but I think the league's still going to be very competitive, and I think it's a league that, as some of these teams gain experience, they're going to get better.
Tell us quickly about UALR.
Wimp Sanderson used to coach the University of Alabama, so when I was at Kentucky, we had some great battles with Wimp. Outstanding coach. Believe me, his team will be well prepared. One of the things that's hindered his ball club, they got in some problems last year with the NCAA, and so he's had to set out certain players each game. Some of them had 1, 2, 3 game suspensions. Last week he beat Florida International on the road, a great win for them in their league, and they're 4-1. So it's an opportunity for our fans to get out there, and we need their support because going through final exams, our team may not be at the best, but still tickets available Saturday night, 7:05 in Oklahoma City.
You know, we need to have that crowd out there. It's good to get this underway again, too, our first of many, many shows, and we appreciate you being with us this week. Again, for Eddie Sutton and our entire crew here at Oklahoma State University, this is Tom Dirato. Goodbye, everybody.